tuned with Radio 3CR. The time is almost 7:30. 3CR Community Radio. The time is exactly 7:30. 7:30 Sunday night. It's Nostalgia Unlimited.
She said, "You're grand." So I replied in words low down, "Now this is how the music goes round." I blow through here, the music goes round and around, whoa, and it comes up here.
Good evening, Leslie.
Good evening, Alex. Nice to be with you again.
It's lovely to be here back at 3CR for another presentation of Nostalgia Unlimited.
It's our favourite night of the week, isn't it?
It is.
And our John Ferguson is not with us tonight, but we're going to do a very nice Australian
It
program.
is a program with a difference. Tonight we've got all Australian artists and in the main Australian recordings, a couple of overseas ones when artists were overseas, but I think they'll enjoy tonight's show.
Well, looking through the list, Alex, it looks a great program to me. So, will we get off to a nice bright start?
I think we will, and it's Brian Lawrence.
What? Of you yet, with the wind and the rain in your hair. I held you tight as you whispered good night, with the wind and the rain in your hair. Now it will be my favorite memory, that vision of you standing there. There in the mist, how you sighed when we kissed, with the wind and the rain in your hair.
A nice opening number there, Alex.
It was nice.
With the wind and the rain in your hair. And that was presented by Brian Lawrence and the Romano's Sextet. And Brian did the vocal on this number, which was recorded in Sydney in September 1940.
It's very pleasant sound.
A great sound.
With the wind and rain in your hair.
Well,
25 minutes to 8 o'clock.
That's like tonight. There's a bit of wind and rain in our hair, isn't there?
Yes.
A bit of wind anyway at the
Yes, I
moment.
don't know whether it was raining too much, but it has been. All right, I think we'll have two in a row.
Good, Alex. What have you got
We're
lined
going to
up?
have When the Lilacs Bloom Again. Red Perksy and his orchestra, with Ray Dixon's vocal and a 1956 recording.
And then Sitting, Making Faces at the Moon. I think sometimes we all do that, don't we? This song was composed by Noel Judd, and we hear Barbara James accompanied by George Trevor's Australians, recorded in Sydney in August 1943.
But firstly, here's Red Perksy and his orchestra.
Darling, when the lilac blooms again and the birds are singing love's refrain, when the spring is waking, winter days forsaking, we will have a world of love's own making. When the scented blossoms deck the lane, shining through the springtime silver rain, you and I will capture all of love's own rapture. Darling, when the lilac blooms again. Scented blossoms deck the lane, shining through the springtime silver rain. You and I will capture all of love's own rapture. Darling, when the lilac blooms again. Darling, when the lilac blooms again.
Stop your smiling, Mr. Moon. Look at where you've got me on this night in June. Must you haunt me when I'm blue? I've got no one to love me and I'm blaming you. The night was made for sentiment and kisses, a starry night where lovers love to spoon. But where's a mister looking for a missus, while I'm sitting making faces at the moon? The park is full of couples all romancing, the band supplies a serenading tune. But where's a mister looking for a missus, while I'm sitting making faces at the moon? I've told the stars above I'll never fall in love with any other boy that comes along, but they seem to sigh and wink a knowing eye, because they know I'm absolutely wrong. Now I am waiting for a guy who's lonesome. I hope he'll hear my wishes very soon. I'm getting tired of being on my lonesome, just a sitting making faces at the moon. never fall in love with any other boy that comes along. But they seem to sigh and wink a knowing eye, because they know I'm absolutely wrong. Now I am waiting for a guy who's lonesome. I hope he'll hear my wishes very soon. I'm getting tired of being on my lonesome, just a sitting making faces at the moon. Sitting making faces at the moon.
Barbara James.
It was Barbara James sitting making faces at the moon.
And talking about attractive females, how about giving Maureen a ring? She's out there on the switchboard.
She is.
419-8377. And if you'd like to become a listener sponsor, we'd certainly welcome you.
Yes, 419-8377. Give it a ring.
Maureen. Now, on with the show, Alex.
Yep.
The Gendarmes Duet from Offenbach's Geneviève de Brabant.
Yes.
How's that?
Very good.
We've got Malcolm McEachran and Harold Williams doing this well-known recording. This is a good one.
Yes, it is a good one. I like this.
A popular one.
Mm-hmm. And then we've got Marjorie Stediford with the Six Swingers and a song from May 1935. She recorded this in London, and it's the house where I was born. But firstly, here's the Gendarmes Duet.
Public guardians, bold yet wary, and of ourselves we take good care. To risk our precious lives we're chary, when danger looms we're never there. But when we meet a helpless woman, or little boys that do no harm, we run them in, we run them in, we run them in, we run them in, we show them where the bold gendarmes. We run them in, we run them in, we run them in, we run them in, we show them where the bold gendarmes. Sometimes our duty's extramural, then little butterflies we chase. We like to gamble in things rural, commune with nature face to face, and to our beat then back returning, refreshed by nature's holy charm. We run them in, we run them in, we run them in, we run them in, we show them where the bold gendarmes. We run them in, we run them in, we run them in, we run them in, we show them where the bold gendarmes. If gentlemen will make a riot and punch each other's heads at night, we're quite disposed to keep it quiet, provided that they make it right. But if they do not seem to see, or give to us our proper terms, we run them in, we run them in, we run them in, we run them in, we show them where the bold gendarmes. We run them in, we run them in, we run them in, we run them in, we show them where the bold gendarmes.
At the foot of a hill, in the shade of a tree, you will come to a spot that is heaven for me. Beyond the old oaks, you'll meet the old folks in the house where I was born. It is sort of old-timey with funny antiques, and they've got a Victrola so old that it squeaks. Yet they greet you with pride when you walk inside the house where I was born. Hanging on the wall is a picture of my mother in her wedding gown. It's not like her at all, because I know my mother, and mother's never sitting down. Soon I'm going back home to see the old dears. I know they won't be with me for many more years. I'll play like a kid the way that I did in the house where I was born.
Time on 3CR Community Radio, 8:55 on the dial, is 12 minutes to 8, and you're listening to Nostalgia Unlimited. And Gladys and Harold are enjoying the show.
Good. Good to hear from them.
They always enjoy the show, Alex.
They do.
Yep, they've got good taste.
They have. Otherwise they wouldn't be listening. We've got problems with our cart machine, but never mind, we'll fix that.
Something didn't happen.
Something didn't happen, and what we'll do...
On with the show. Something didn't happen that should have happened.
Actually, I think it might happen now if we tried.
Right.
3CR's Home Show provides current news, reviews and interviews. And the news behind the news and current affairs may be heard on 3CR every Tuesday afternoon with Jen Bartlett. Can you afford to miss this program? Be aware of the news behind the news by tuning into 3CR between 4pm and 5:30pm every Tuesday afternoon for the Home Show presented by Jen Bartlett.
Well, we did hear from John giving us that good news, didn't we?
We did, yes. So that's the danger of not running the thing through. But we're there.
Well, we'll get the fly spray out. The flies crawled up the window.
Oh, God, in the butcher shop?
In the butcher shop, yes. From the show, Jack's the Boy. Now, we usually associate this with Jack Buchanan, but tonight we're having an all-Australian Nostalgia Unlimited. We have Len Maurice with instrumental accompaniment, and this was recorded in Sydney in December 1932.
And then we're going to have the Whistling Waltz, and it's a nice waltz played by Jim Davidson and his new Palais Royal Orchestra on this Australian night, and there's a vocal by Alice Smith.
She sings well too.
She does, very pleasant. And the tune was featured in the Associated Distributors film, Street Singer's Serenade. She made this recording in May 1936 in Sydney, no doubt at the Homebush Studios.
I would say so.
But first,
the flies crawled up the window.
In the wet and winter weather is the strong survive. So I say one loud hooray, I'm lucky to be alive. We must all be boys together if we want to thrive. In the snow the winds do blow, I'm lucky to be alive. I cough, I sneeze, I shiver in the cold, cold air. I ache, I freeze, and yet I never turn a hair. I don't care, in the dark and stormy weather, if the brave survive. Hitherto I've lived on flu, I'm lucky to be alive. The flies crawled up the window, it's all they have to do. They went up by the thousand and came down two by two. The flies crawled up the window, they said we love to roam. So once more up the window, and then we'll all go home. In the wet and winter weather, it's the strong survive. So it's here 3 rousing cheers, there ain't any flies on me. We must all be tough as leather if we want to thrive. Thanks to rest and one thick vest, I'm lucky to be alive. I cough, I sneeze, I shuffle in the cold, cold snow. I ache, I freeze, when duty calls I always go. Let's all go, and we'll shout it all together, and we must revive. Every day in every way we're lucky to be alive. Crawled up the window, it's all they have to do. They went up by the thousand and came down two by two. The flies crawled up the window, they said we love to roam. So just once more up the window, and then we'll all go home.
dear Roma. That's happy birthday to Roma Ferguson for last Monday. Happy birthday, Roma.
I hope she had a special day. I'm sure she would have.
She did. She's not doing too badly. She's 95 and she's going
She's
well.
never 90.
Yes, my word, she is. She told me. Yep. No,
Wow.
not true, Roma. Happy birthday for last Monday.
Yes, good on you. It's now 4.5 minutes to 8 with Nostalgia Unlimited on 3CR. Frank Gregory presents Swing and Sway every Saturday afternoon on 3CR. Yes, for the brightest and best in swing and sway music, tune to Frank Gregory, Saturday afternoons between 1:30 and 2:30 on 3CR, 8:55 on the dial.
It's a good listening there on Swing and Sway on Saturday.
Yes, Frank Gregory, and yesterday he had Jeff Lasbury with him.
Yes.
I think from memory that Bill's going to be doing it next
week. And I think the following week it's John Ferguson.
Again. Yes.
And I think yours truly over here too.
You're going to be helping
If I'm asked, I will.
It's a good program, that.
It is always good. Righto, Alex.
Red Cross Nurse. Lovely song from the pen of the late Jack O'Hagan. It's sung tonight for us by Johnny Wade. This is a Regal Zonophone recording, and it was made in Sydney in October 1942.
And we'll follow that one with the bridle hanging on the wall. Not hanging. The bridle. Hanging on the wall.
That's a Carson Robinson song.
No less than Carson. He wrote this song, and it was recorded by Peter Dawson in London during November 1936.
But firstly,
Red Cross Nurse.
All the world admires you, Red Cross nurse. Sacrifice inspires you, Red Cross nurse. In the darkest hour, you tend to our needs with a smile. You're a precious flower that makes our life worthwhile. How can we repay you, Red Cross nurse? Nothing can dismay you mid-war's curse. Like Florence Nightingale with spirit strong, you never fail when things go wrong. Good luck and God bless you, Red Cross nurse. Every day we read of gallant deeds, unselfish acts of heroes by the score. Yet somehow one seldom ever reads of the valor of those girls we all adore. So let me pay a tribute here and now to our nurses. They deserve it all, I vow. All the world admires you, Red Cross nurse. Sacrifice inspires you, Red Cross nurse. In the darkest hour, you tend to our needs with a smile. You're a precious flower that makes our life worthwhile. How can we repay you, Red Cross nurse? Nothing can dismay you mid-war's curse. Like Florence Nightingale with spirit strong, you never fail when things go wrong. Good luck and God bless you, Red Cross nurse.
There's a bridle hanging on the wall, and a saddle in a lonely stall. You ask me why the teardrops fall. It's that bridle hanging on the wall. There's a horseshoe nailed above the door. It's a shoe that my old pony wore. There's a faded blanket in the hall, and that bridle hanging on the wall. With a pony for my guide, I used to ride down the trail, watching the moon swing low. But now that faithful friend has found the end of that trail. He's gone wherever good ponies go, and his bridle's hanging on the wall, and his saddle's in his lonely stall. No more he'll answer to my call. There's a bridle hanging on the wall. His bridle's hanging on the wall, and his saddle's in his lonely stall. No more he'll answer to my call. There's a bridle hanging on the wall.
Well, there we were with There's a Bridle Hanging on the Wall, and that was presented by the late Peter Dawson. It's 4 minutes past 8 o'clock now on 3CR Community Radio, and we've had a message.
We have, yes.
From Dick Barker, who is out in Melton, and he's picking up 3CR tonight. Very much better by using batteries in his radio rather than the mains. Now that's interesting.
That is interesting.
And he's enjoying the program. As for other nights, he hasn't been able to get a very good reception, but tonight he's coming in
on batteries.
On batteries.
And Val Burns of Essendon's enjoying our program too. And guess who's just walked into the studio?
It's Jamie.
It's Jamie, who is going to present Collector's Corner at 9 o'clock. And Jamie has just sat down.
Yeah.
And he's going to tell us all about it.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm still puffing and panting there, fellas. At 9 o'clock tonight, we're paying a tribute to Jeff Brooke, Australia's Jeff Brooke, the fellow who for the last 30 years or so wrote the fishing column in the Herald. He doesn't do it anymore, but Jeff Brooke was a well-known recording artist in this country, and so we'll be looking at Jeff Brooke after 9 o'clock in Collector's Corner.
Oh, that sounds great, Jamie. Thanks for that.
And Jeff Brooke used to be one of the compares on New Faces too, didn't he?
No,
he was a judge.
A judge, I mean, yes, not a comp.
Yeah,
judge, indeed.
Yeah, he was a judge there for many a long year.
Yeah, that should be good, Jamie.
He was alongside with, was it Tim Evans? Was he?
I think so, yes.
And Johnny McMahon was always seemed to be there too.
He was there
fluctuating.
in the finals, and also Rod McClellan too was another judge.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, that's right. So that'll be good. We'll look forward to that at 9 o'clock, and then at 10 o'clock we have Paul Edward, and I think Paul will tell us what he's doing.
Good.
Hello, Paul Edward here. In our next little spot where we look back on the history of Australian radio, we're going to talk about the story of some unusual boo-boos because of lack of or faulty communication between those involved with the production of some unusual radio programs. We've called the spot Confused Communications.
Paul Edward tonight at 10 o'clock in our regular segment. It's 6 minutes past 8 o'clock now, and it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
That's it. Yeah.
Frank Coughlin and his Trocadero Orchestra now with Duke Ellington classic. Barbara James comes back to the show to do the vocal on this 1937 recording.
And then we'll have Rendezvous. Anona Wynne comes to the program with this pleasant number, and it is indeed a pleasant number. And this was recorded in London in August 1933. That's Rendezvous. But before Rendezvous,
we're going to have Frank Coughlin, and if you're enjoying the program, well, give us a call.
Don't mean to sing, all you gotta do is sing. Makes no difference if it's sweet or hot. Just keep that rhythm, give it everything you got. Oh, don't mean to sing if it ain't got that swing.
Making music in the lonely spot.
As shepherdess and shepherd mingled in the paces of an old gavotte, and the little marble Cupid loved to see the lovers dancing so. And keeping to the quaint old measure, he is beating with his broken bow. And now the night is still, the curtain wavers into silence. The bird has ceased her trill, the shepherd pair can murmur what they will. When 1 o'clock is tolled, their hour of magic life is over. Their arms must now unfold, and love on marble cold. Through the garden goes the shepherd, stepping ever where the shadows fall. His shepherdess is left all lonely on her little marble pedestal, and the gardener on the morrow passes by the two and never knows. Her little shepherd now is holding fast the shepherdess's marble.
Delightful.
Nice song, wasn't it?
Yes.
Australia's own Nona Wynne.
There's a very nice orchestral version by Albert Sandler too.
Albert Sandler, and also I think the Regal Salon Orchestra do it on a Regal
I think you are right.
78. And I've got that one, that's nice too.
I've got the Albert Sandler one.
It's 13 minutes past 8 o'clock.
And how about giving Maureen a ring?
419-8377 if you'd like to say that you're enjoying the program, or if you've got a comment,
request,
or if you'd like to become a listener sponsor.
We'll welcome you with open arms.
Now, while we're talking about listener sponsors, there are 3 rates: $35, which includes the cram guide, that's for an employed person; $20 for unemployed, also gets the cram guide; and $7 concession without the cram guide. But with each of those, you get a pass which enables you to avail yourself of the discount on many, many items.
It's well worthwhile.
It is. So you recoup that expense very quickly.
She knows her onions. So we're talking about Maureen again. This is an interesting little number, and it's from the 2FC Studio Orchestra under the direction of Eric Pierce.
Sydney.
Am I reading correctly?
No, Eric Pierce, a different one.
A different Eric Pierce.
Eric Pierce in Melbourne spells his with a C.
And this one is with an S. And Len Maurice is back. We had him earlier, didn't we?
We did.
And he handles the vocal and handles it very well with this record made in Sydney on the 8th of December 1926.
And then we've got Annette Kluger back with the George Trevere Dance Orchestra and a 1946 recording of That's For Me. And just as an aside, Annette married the radio and TV personality Ray Taylor.
Ray Taylor?
Yes, so that's Mrs. Ray Taylor, Annette Kluger. But firstly, she knows her onions.
got that. She knows her onions, a Packard cow and a King's Cross Flats. She knows her onions, she's just a farmer's daughter, brought up in Iowa way. But father never taught her the things she knows today. She knows her Spanish onions, she knows her baby talk. She hasn't any bunions, she don't get out and walk. She's got mink and sable fur, she's the blonde that men prefer. Oh yes sir, she knows her onions.
standing in the sun, and you were something to see. I know what I like, and I liked what I saw, and I said to myself, that's for me. A lovely morning, I remarked, and you were quick to agree. You wanted to walk, and I nodded my head as I breathlessly said, that's for me. I left you standing on the start, the day's adventures are through. There's nothing for me but the dream in my heart, and the dream in my heart, that's for you. Oh, my darling, that's for you.
George Smith. George is enjoying our program right out there at Springvale. Thank you, George.
Oh, that's good. It's 20 minutes past 8. Until 11:30, you're with Nostalgia Unlimited on Community Radio 3CR, 855 on the dial.
Well, looking around corners for you.
Can you see me?
I can see you, Alex. If you were up and around at about 2:40 a couple of Tuesday nights ago on Channel 2, you would have seen the old English film Head Over Heels with Jesse Matthews.
I did.
You did, and so did I. You must stay up very late, Alex.
VCRs.
Ah, very handy.
Oh.
Yes, I did the same thing. I think Jessie's delightful.
She is.
But even just as delightful is our own Melbourne's Janet Lind. Janet, whose real name, incidentally, was Marguerite Nugent.
That's right.
Now, even though we're having an all-Australian program, and indeed Janet was Australian, this is, of course, backed by Louis Levy's great Gaumont British Symphony, and it's the Mac Gordon and Harry Revel tune that we've just talked about from the movie Head Over Heels with Janet.
And then we're going to follow that with, before we have our theme program, Let Me Die With My Boots On. This is a Jack O'Hagan composition, and it's Jack at the piano. And I don't know a great deal more about this song, except that it's fairly... Jamie, you might know. Hang on.
Alex, that particular recording was Jack O'Hagan's last recording that he made in 1956. And that came out on an LP, which was put out as a souvenir for the 1956 Olympic Games.
Well, there you go. So now...
The interesting, and I think Jack's backed on this recording by, I think, the Tune Twisters.
Oh, good. Bob Horsfall's group.
That's right, yes.
Well, Jamie came in very handy there.
Thank you, Jamie, for that. And so we'll look forward to hearing that. But first of all, here's Janet Lind with Louis Levy, and she's looking around corners.
We just had a little bit of trouble there with Janet. Janet Lind, whose real name, as we told you, was Marguerite Nugent. She actually, she got that name, Janet Lind. She was in London, and she was looking across the street, I don't know what street in London, which street, Piccadilly Street, and she saw a corset shop, Lind Corsets, and she thought, that's the name I'll adopt.
Is that how it happened?
That's how it happened, Alex. And she was feeling a little bit groggy there, but I think Janet's back on her feet, is she?
She is. Sorry about that.
Looking around corners for you.
We'll pick it up now.
But what can I do? Ever since the day you went, I'm wondering the way you went, looking around corners for you. Looking around corners for you, hoping that you'll come into view. Searching for a trace of you to see that smiling face of you, looking around corners for you. I think I'll tell the missing person bureau, you're a person that I'm missing so. Why must I weep on the pillow I sleep on? Tell me, my darling, how long
must I keep on looking around corners for you? It's raining though the skies above are blue, and the sun ain't gonna shine again until you say that you're mine again. Looking around corners, looking in windows, searching, waiting, hopeless, helpless, looking around corners for you.
Haven't got much money, I've had a lot of fun. I've lived the life that I love best. Oh, I'll never leave a will, but if I left a will, this would be my last request. Oh, let me die with my boots on. Let me die 'neath the blue sky above, with my saddle and my horse when my life has run its course. Let me die in the land that I love. Oh, let me die with my stock whip 'neath the shade of some old wattle tree, where the brumbies roam at will while the world is standing still. Let me die where it's wild and it's free. Oh, I've ranged from the rivers to the mountains, from the dawn to the setting of the sun, and I've carried my swag through the mulga. So I pray when my life's course is run, oh, let me die with my boots on. Let me die 'neath the blue sky above, when no more I'm free to roam and my maker calls me home. Let me die in the land that I love. Rivers to the mountains, from the dawn to the setting of the sun, and I've carried my swag through the mulga, and I pray when my life's course is run, oh, let me die with my boots on. Let me die when the blue sky above, when no more I'm free to roam, and my maker calls me home. Let me die in the land that I love.
You play those gongs beautifully, Alex.
Yes, I've got a little stick and thump away at them.
Yeah, you're very musical. And do you know the time is 8:30 on 3CR Nostalgia Unlimited.
On Nostalgia Unlimited, it's time to remember radio and TV shows of the past with Themes We Remember. Well, here we go. with themes we remember.
And I'm looking forward to hearing the themes we remember.
Well, we've got a couple tonight, and actually one of a chappie rang in last program and said, would we play the theme that was used on the Gaumont movies, the British Gaumont movies?
The Louis Levy.
Yes, so Louis Levy's back in the show very quickly, but this part, of course, is not an Australian segment, but we won't worry about that
Not
too
this
much.
time. It's a great theme.
It is. It's called Music from the Movies March, and it's presented by Louis Levy, and he wrote this piece and he conducts it, and I'm sure that it'll be very familiar to many, many people. So here we go. Like that?
Great. Absolutely great, Alex.
I think they actually used that also for the fanfare at the beginning of the Gaumont British News.
They did, and you would have been able to buy that Regal Zonophone 78 for 2 and 6pence.
2 and 6. That was the cheaper version of the Columbia label, wasn't it?
It was.
Which I think were they 4 shillings?
They were 4 shillings.
Yeah.
But still the same pressings. They were EMI,
Yeah.
same quality.
There was a whole lot of skullduggery that went on though, really,
I think so.
in those days. People recording under different names and what have you.
All sorts of...
Well, now come to our second recording for the night in Themes We Remember, and this one will bring back a lot of memories to a lot of people. The Burtons of Banner Street was a serial which ran on 3DV for many years, and it was introduced over the music by a bloke called John Morgan, and his voice was very, very well known in Melbourne radio scene. But the actual piece of music they used was the Sanctuary of the Heart by Albert W. Catalby,
Right.
Now, he also wrote Monastery Garden and things like that.
Yes.
So I'm sure people will say, oh, yes, I remember this. So let's listen as the Bosworth Orchestra presents Sanctuary of the Heart. The Sanctuary of the Heart by Albert W. Kettelby.
Very nice.
The theme to the Burtons of Banner Street.
Well, I did.
Join us again next time when once again we relive memories of old radio and TV shows with Themes We Remember.
20 minutes to Collector's Corner when Jamie Kelly, who is here, is going to present Melody, Just Melody, and it's the music of Jeff Brooke.
Looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to that at 9 o'clock, and Jamie is raring to go, but we have time for a few more numbers, a few more Australian records first, do we not,
We do.
Alex?
We're going to have one now from Bernice Lynch, a little touch of Hawaii in the program. This is a fidelity recording from the late 1940s, and it's Bernice singing Memories of a Lovely Lay.
And Will You Be the Same to Me? Dudley Cantrell's Music Makers, with the vocal by Arthur Slade. And this is a nice recording made in Sydney in October 1938.
But firstly,
Bernice Lynch.
The
lovely lane. Romantic melodies wafted to me across the breeze bring me memories of a lovely lane. We wandered hand in hand 'neath Polynesian skies, and we lived in lovers' land in Hawaiian paradise. Though dreaming be in vain, ever with me there will remain all those memories of a lovely lane. We wandered hand in hand 'neath Polynesian skies, and we lived in lovers' land in Hawaiian paradise. Though dreaming be in vain, ever with me they will remain those memories of a lovely lane.
Found their inspiration, my arms have found their destination. Can it be just a new thrill, dear, this falling in love with you? My heart has found a new sensation. Please listen to my supplication. I only want to be a close relation. Will you be the same to me? You for me and me for you is all that matters just now, it seems. We will be so fond and full, the world will envy our golden dreams. I can't resist your fascination. Your lips are such a sweet temptation. I only long to be a close relation. Will you be the same to me?
That's a bright one.
Nice one there from Dudley Cantrell. I think he was Lana Cantrell's father.
He could have been, Alex, because, I mean, that's an unusual surname.
It is. There's not too many people around with Cantrell.
So, at 14 minutes to 9 on John Ferguson's Nostalgia Unlimited, without John tonight, but with yours truly, Les Egan here.
And Alex Hehr over here.
We're carrying on and having a good time.
On an AO night.
Yes, all Australian.
Yes.
And we hope our listeners are enjoying it.
Yes, indeed.
Because we are.
We are having a lot of fun listening to this good music.
So, this is cricket. And it's got a subtitle. Gee, what a wonderful game. And we're going to hear both sides of this Jack Lumsdaine recording, and Jack accompanies himself at the piano. And this comes from a session in October 1932.
It's a bit like Pat Hanna's gospel recording to cricket.
That's right, and Pat Hanna did a few of those gospel recording. I've got about
racing, I think.
3 of them, I think.
Yes, but this one's Jack Lumsdaine for a change, and so this is cricket. And then we'll follow that with 3 little words. Cliff Clark and his Kookaburras come to the program with the vocal of Des Tooley, and don't be fooled, Des is a woman, not a man. They went to the studios in April 1931, and this is the result. But firstly, we'll hear from Jack Lumsdaine.
We are now commencing the tests of 1932. The lion versus the kangaroo. Members of the kangaroo team train on Australia's national food, the hops, who called us a lot of bounders, while the visitors' staple diet is plum and sardines. The umpires are now out inspecting the wickets, the view being completely obliterated with their hats. The players take the field where to goodness knows, and the first blow is struck to earn the ashes. Woodbull is so wide awake, he's never at a loss, and people sometimes wonder how he always wins the toss. But one hard head who knows him was heard to softly speak, I've seen him playing 2-up, he can head 'em for a week. When Tate begins to bowl, the batsmen tremble at the knees. The ball comes humming down the pitch just like a hive of bees. The other day the bails went flying right out to the gates. The batsman smiled a sickly smile and whispered, Tate, ah, Tate. So this is cricket. Gee, it's a wonderful game. Bradman is a wonder batsman, he's a shining light, and he nearly left us, 'cause they wouldn't let him right. To play for old Australia, he turned down a job abroad, and this is how they treat him, it's no wonder he gets bored. He swipes the ball away to leg, it looks a catch for sure. The fellow out on long leg misses it, why it's a 4. The crowd upon the hill begin to shout and yell, how, how. Why don't you turn up cricket and start taking up yo-yo? So this is cricket. Gee, it's a wonderful game. A fellow and his girl were sitting out upon the hill. He had his arm around her waist, was getting quite a thrill. Bradman swiped the ball which hit her, though I understand the girlie's waist was all right, but it smashed the fellow's hand. So this is cricket. Gee, what a wonderful game. We are now stopping for the luncheon adjournment, and play will be resumed on the other side.
Jollies and chocolates, peanuts and M&Ms, ice cream, we'll have a julep.
Don Bradman is just going out to bat.
Oh, Mr. Bradman, would you mind putting your name in my autograph book, please?
The office boy went to the boss, said, Grandmama has died. May I attend the funeral, sir? And then the boss replied, Certainly, my lad, and I'll come along with you. What time does the test start? Is it 1 or 2:30? So this is cricket. Gee, what a wonderful game. A married man who'd been away on business from home said, dear, I hope that no one's kissed you since I've had to roam. His wife said, I'll confess that I've been kissed twice, dear old bean. Once by the old rowing club, once by the English team. The chief stipendiary magistrate, who always loved a jest, was hurrying the court through to get out to the test. A prisoner who was remanded said, can I have bail? His worship said, you've been too wicked, you must go to jail. So this is cricket. Gee, what a wonderful game. A married man who'd seen the test was talking in his sleep. He kept on yelling, how's that? Till his wife began to weep. Though he tried explanation, she just knocked him on the floor. She said, my boy, I've often heard you speak of leg before. One day it had been raining and it caused a fearful hitch. And both the captains went out to inspect the blooming pitch. One said, why, we can't carry on, there's water around the joint. The other said, why bring that up, it's such a silly point. So this is cricket. Gee, what a wonderful game. Bowes is after records, and he's broken quite a few. He played the gramophone upon the ship the whole trip through. And Jardine is a fellow who's got music on the brain. Once he kept 5,000 people singing in the rain. So this is cricket. Gee, what a wonderful game. So here's a hand, my trusty friends, and cheery old chin-chin. So charge your glasses, drink this toast, may the best side win.
I'd give for that wonderful phrase. To hear those three little words, that's all I'd live for the rest of my days. And what I'd feel in my heart, they tell sincerely. No other words could tell it half so clearly. Three little words, 8 little letters, which simply mean I love you.
Well, it's 5 minutes to Collector's Corner, and Jamie's just about ready to go, but I think we have time for one more record.
We do have a time for one more record, but before we do that, Bert Tout, which is Bagsy from Essendon, is listening, and I heard Bagsy ring into the program yesterday with this Steam Radio.
I did too, and also Roma. Roma rang to say thanks for the birthday wishes for last Monday.
Very welcome, Roma, and we hope you enjoyed them. It's, 5 minutes to 9.
And especially
3CR's Saturday Afternoon Music Hour provides easy listening music from 1:30 right through to 5:30 p.m. During this 4 hours, you'll hear Frank Gregory's Swing and Sway. At 2:30, Steam Radio, a collation of yesteryear's recordings presented by Ralph Knight until 4 o'clock, when Jazz on a Saturday is presented by Roger Bilby or John Smythe. So, give yourself a treat and tune in to 3CR's Saturday Afternoon's Musical Fiesta and relax with music you can relate to.
Well, now, I was just about to say, when John came in there, I was going to say, especially for Roma, my one and only Highland Fling. And then John jumped in to tell us about Saturday Afternoon Music Hall.